What is up, guys, and welcome to the first episode of Pretty Smart Rich. I can't believe we've made it. It's only been 5 years since the pandemic started, and I started with the podcast called The Fitbit Report, and now we're here. We're here, and it is now Pretty Smart Rich. So it's been a journey. It's been a process of learning and learning forward, and I'm so happy to be here now. So, before I jump in and I start and share my story with you guys, I just want you to know that, first of all, the journey has been long and it has been exhausting, but all that to say because there's not too many Latinas in fashion. There's not too many Latinas in magazine editor positions. There's not many Latinas in influencer marketing or even public relations. So that goes to say that being here has been very exhausting because I've had to do it all. I've had to do it all myself. I've had to make my own connections. I've had to build my own network. I've had to go and meet these people. I've had to establish my relationships. I've had to email countless times. I've had to set up multiple meetings. I've done it so I am exhausted, and it's a good exhausted, but at the same time, it's tiring for a Latina. And if my Latinas are listening to this, I just want to let y'all know that, it's not an easy path when you're the first generation, and it's not an easy path when you get to blaze your own trail, but it is worth it. I want to say that I may be exhausted, but I'd rather be tired than not have accomplished anything, right? And so for me to sit here and say that I'm exhausted, it's not to demonize or to put down my efforts for what I have done and created and built, but it's just to share with you that, trailblazing and being the first and not having that supportive network of seeing enough women like myself in these positions, in these roles with these titles, it's very daunting and it weighs heavy on my soul. So I want to be proud of who I am and I want to be proud of where I come from. And I feel like through social media, we're allowed to do that. And it creates this gate that was once placed on us that is no longer there. And it's good because it enables the people who have been gatekeeping to realize that you can't continue to gatekeep, which is kind of good. um, because I didn't know how the Fitbit report was going to affect an actual, publication that is so legendary that people, just are idolize Vogue so much. Just to know that Vogue ended up opening up their own department just like mine, and opening up a department that was dedicated to everything that I was building, everything that I was communicating at the intersection of beauty, fashion, and technology. And then not only that, here I am, a Latina woman from Texas. Do you guys know how behind Texas is in fashion? Okay, so we do know this, but now we know that Western wear is really trending, and a lot of people love the style of Western wear, the cowboy look, and the cowboy style. And so now our culture in Texas, which is what we have always grown up as the normal, as a Tejano or a Tejana, it's becoming a trendy style for others. And so it's also a time and an era where I'm very thankful that social media made this opportunity available to me, because I know when I'm 70 years old, oh my God, I'm going to be able to tell my grandkids some of the most amazing stories. Some of the most amazing stories that I've never told, but maybe one day I will, of the things that have happened to me, the way that I've seen God show up, and just the amazing people that have come along in my path. And of course, the ones that were not so great. But hey, they taught you a lesson, they teach you a lesson. And so I just want to say this: if you are someone who is curious about anything in life, if you're curious about technology, if you're curious about society, culture, politics, anything that has sparked your interest and your curiosity, I think that you should lean forward and lean into it. I leaned forward into the curiosity of how beauty and fashion would intersect, how beauty and fashion intersected, with technology, and look where it led me. Had I not had the freedom to choose what I wanted to do because of my entrepreneurial spirit, I don't think I would have arrived at where I'm at. However, I do come from immigrant parents, so for me, that drive, that dedication, and that loyalty has been in me, because it's in my veins. Excellence is in my veins, and so for me to have excellence in my veins, it's only right that I don't give up. Entrepreneurship is also a game of learning what works and what doesn't work, but it's also mastering the skills to perform on a high level. And so all of that has led me here to where Pretty Smart Rich is. So from industry insights in beauty and fashion technology to writing about the venture capital space, how women are investing into cosmetic good products or consumer good products, beauty products as well, if you want to call them that, but also too investing into the technology that is pioneering in beauty and fashion, which right now we're seeing in AI, which is just kind of back to the same thing of e-commerce from the early 2000s when e-commerce first came on the scene for fashion retail. And also too, the skin analysis that is being done with AI through the smart mirrors, where the mirror is a technology that is enabling the AI to mirror your face to make that analysis. And all of that, guys, I didn't know. I didn't know none of that, but it's been all through the past 5 years of experience, of attending conferences, of speaking with industry leaders, insights, being in rooms, and just watching and learning and hearing, and having discussions and attending seminars and all of that, to say that this is how I know all of these things. This is how it's came about and how it's led me here. And so for me to transition into making more established reports on the women who are investing in venture capital into other women or just other companies, that for me is something that I'm incredibly fascinated with. I'm fascinated with the fact that, so many founders want to create a company, want to create a product. They're so attached to it that they don't see that in reality, a successful entrepreneur sells the company because they're not wanting to hold on to something that is of value because they're attached to it. Instead, they see it as an asset. So what you're building is an asset and not necessarily something that you get attached to. So don't become attached to it. You need to build it as an asset. I go to say, because of Butte and Tech Magazine, it is an asset. It's an asset that has allowed me to interview top women leaders, founders, get to have beauty products sent to me as an editor so I can try them out and I can write about my opinion and what I feel about it. So all of that to say that that's the part where I'm so glad that I built that asset, and that asset will always be there until someone offers me something. And of course, I mean, why wouldn't I? It's only strategic and it's only smart to sell. So I want you to always have that in the back of your mind. If you ever do create a technology, if you ever do build a business, build it with the intention of selling it and building an asset rather than building something that you're attached to and you never let go. If you're building a restaurant, that can easily be franchised. And why not sit back and enjoy the royalties from each franchise or anything of a royalty from any company that you create, that you build? And so that's the kind of mindset that I have, and going forward, the type of conversations that I want to bring on the podcast. I also want to bring on chief marketing officers who are chief marketing officers for luxury consumer brands in beauty and fashion, technology, automotive, and also to lifestyle. So those are some of the retail in interviews that will be coming on. And I'm also going to be incorporating the city that I'm from, and not only this city, but other cities, right? Other cities, but my city specifically, Houston, Texas, because there are some millionaire women out here in Houston, Texas, who also have their own boutiques, who also have stories that they can share, of value that they can bring to our listeners like you in our community. And that's exactly what I want to bring onto this podcast. So that's what you can expect coming up. And, you know, intersection of fashion and beauty, technology encompasses everything, right? It encompasses the computer, it encompasses the music, it encompasses the lighting. I mean, there's so much tech and everything. So really have an open mind to where our consumer products are intersecting with technology. And I do also too know that there's music artists who are legendary in our Latino culture, who have gone and made strides in Paris through Paris Fashion Week. And we're living in an era and a time where it is very historical, from the precedence of what's going on in our country with immigrants and Latinos, to have a Latino Ralph Lauren, Willie Chavarria, go and present for the first time ensembles in a collection that really signifies and reflects Chicano style, is just so beautiful. So I would love to be able to introduce to you and have those conversations with designers and the music artists who, played at that fashion show, or for just in general, our actual Latino artists who are being invited to the fashion shows in Paris, and opening those doors to be a part of fashion, because fashion is not really where we have been welcomed or we have been allowed. And I know this firsthand through our fashion magazine, and just in general seeing other fashion magazines. But needless to say, we are here. We're not going anywhere. And it's great to see Willie Chavarria and other artists, music artists, take part and coming together to create such a beautiful art and fashion at Paris Fashion Week. And so all of this, I am just really happy, and thanks, to you guys for being here, on this journey. As you can see, I've grown a lot, and I've transformed because of this beautiful beauty and fashion technology industry. And I want to say that, it's transformed me for the better. I would not be who I am had it not been for this industry. Without this industry, I don't think that I would have found who I am. I wouldn't have found my voice, and I wouldn't have been able to really project what I wanted to build. But I think at the same time, it was something that I was building that other major publications, other companies were as well building out. So while we're building, I'm talking about it. And so others are talking about it. And it's really good, because we're living in the time where people talk about everything, and whatever you can talk about, you should talk about. And if you have an opinion about something, share your opinion. And if you have a perspective, you should share your perspective. My perspective is on beauty and fashion technology, the culture, and especially, those things that pertain to the the filter through a Latina who it loves beauty and fashion, and that's her passion. And this is, and wanting to bring more Latinos into this industry to understand it, and to know that it is the future. It is the future that's going to lead us. And I don't want to seem like, oh my God, this is a podcast where you're just wanting to change our culture. Not That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that this is a podcast that is going to be for all. And it's going to be in Spanish, in English, even Spanglish, all of it, because that's who I am. And I don't want to change who I am for anyone. So I hope that you accept it. I hope that you take it for what it is. And I hope that you enjoy it, because I do it with love. And I do it with so much love, and with the excellence that I have inside my veins, so that it can project something that's really special and something that means a lot to me. So when you see Pretty Smart Rich, just know that I am pretty smart, and the richness of my culture, I am so proud of. And that's why it is called Pretty Smart Rich. And just know that the rich part, there's a lot of financial literacy that our gente need to learn. But at the same time, the richness in our culture is so beautiful. Why would you not want to talk about it? And I just cannot not talk about it. So I have to include it, and I am including it. And also remember that there are things in life that money cannot buy that make you rich. And those are the riches that I'm talking about in Pretty Smart Rich. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to my first episode of Pretty Smart Rich. I can't wait to see you again. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode and lending me your ears. Peace and love always.